Hello, fellow fantasy sports fans. You are here watching MFSN's Q&A. On Tuesdays, I have a special announcement. We are going to be moving the time. We keep finding our best time slots that work for us and hopefully work for you. And it's going to be 6 p.m. Eastern. But if you're on the West Coast, which everyone who lives in California is, and many other people, then it's going to be 3 p.m. Pacific. But you didn't need me to tell you that because you can do basic math. Anyways, we are now looking at what I would be doing during the All-Star break. And this is important. You know, if you're trying to figure out what to do in a league, you've got to think about these things. Now, the All-Star break is this week where you have a double week against one player. One thing I love about it is it gives you plenty of time to adjust. It's the one time in our league, which is a weekly pickup league, where you can pick up players in the middle. So guess how many players I picked up in the middle? None, because I have all the players I want, actually. Now, that's the position you want to be in. There was one player I wanted to pick up. It was a cut from Ross the Boss, Malik Beasley. He was going to be out 12 games suspended, but by the time this matchup was done, he was going to be done with 6 of those games, so I viewed him as a great pickup. Let's see how I'm doing. Right now, I'm Hot Rod Time Machine, in case you didn't know. I'm winning 6-3, but let's look at how I'm doing in the 9 categories. This is a 9-category league. We see that I'm winning fairly handily in field goal percentage, and this is a pretty significant number of shots, so it's not guaranteed I'll win that. I haven't lost a free throw percentage matchup all year, but this team has some very good free throw shooters, at least so far. I'm going to take a look and see how I'm going to do against this team in the last 4 games of the matchup. So I'm getting beaten in 3-pointers. This often happens. I'm looking to add a 3-point specialist. It's one of the reasons I was interested in Beasley. Points, I'm in a dogfight. Rebounds is over. Assists is over. Steals, I probably will hold on to pretty easily. Blocks, I'll hold on to. And turnovers, I'll lose. So this is really going to turn on points, field goal percentage, 3-pointers, and free throw percentage. And I want to win it as handily as I can. Now, we do have some comments coming in, and I want to remind everybody out there who hasn't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below. I love a good fantasy debate. This is the place to come for basketball, where we do all sports. Baseball is coming soon. And if you want to come on here to talk with me, either video or audio, it's www.callmfsn.com. I had that going so well for so many weeks, and I messed it up. So we have a comment. Just traded White for Boucher. How did I do? It depends on which White you traded. So let's have you weigh in about which one you traded, and I'll get back to you on that. I think you're talking about, what's his name? White from the Spurs. Everybody talks about him. Derek White. I think that's his name. I'll check. I'm not a big fan of his, so if you traded him for Boucher, I think that's great. Here's another question. Do you think Tatum will turn it up in the second half? Yes, I do. Tatum it's not so much that he'll turn it up, that he's been underperforming, and I believe that his kind of superstar level is his natural level. So I think he's going to do just fine. I'm going to take a couple more questions. Then I'm going to get into what I would be doing at this point in the All-Star break, which is I'm going to look for a trade. I've done that before, but I've not successfully swung one on this show, and I want to do that. So this is from Ross the Boss. Hearing Drummond to the Nets or Lakers. Thoughts? Okay, now the Nets just added Blake Griffin. So will they add Andre Drummond also? And would that even be a good fit? I don't know. That's a good question for everybody out there. I want you. Oh, Cody White. That's right. So Cody White is a Bulls player. So I'm not. Ross loves Cody White. He loves Cody White. And it seems to be because of his hair. He talks about his hair all the time. I admit he's got good hair. It's definitely better than mine. But, I'm thinking that he's not that great of a player. And I'll look at the numbers for you in a second, but he never really has added up that much, and Boucher is much better. So I adding Drummond to the Nets, I don't know about that. If you add Drummond to the Lakers, I like that move in the NBA. Now we have a question coming in from Bob Golub. He says, I know you're talking fantasy, but where would you rank Wilt Chamberlain as a player? Now, Bob, are you talking in fantasy? Like if we were playing fantasy sports, he would be the best player ever. He just, I mean, he scored 100 points in one game. That's just ridiculous. You could argue maybe Oscar Robertson would be up there, but for fantasy, Wilt Chamberlain is number one. Now, if you're saying where would I rank him overall as a player, it's tough. I have my top five are Michael Jordan, LeBron James. Then we've got a mix because we got Kobe Bryant, we got Larry Bird, we got Magic Johnson, we have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I put Kareem third, I think, and I put probably Magic and Bird rounding it out. Wilt Chamberlain, to me, maybe seventh. I think Kobe's sixth. I know some people will say that's sacrilege, especially with his untimely passing. Not that there's ever timely passing, but I think Wilt Chamberlain is way up there. Now, we're going to... Oh, we have another question from Bob. And welcome, Bob, by the way. I haven't seen you on here, so welcome. And if you haven't already, click subscribe. We would love to have you as an MFSN subscriber. Who is the player and Hoosiers did they play for the championship? Oscar Robertson was on a team. Bob's high school. Oh, Ross knows Bob. Here we go. This is where it is. Okay. Bob's high school beat Wilt's and his high school. No way. Who was the player and Hoosiers did they play for the championship? Oscar Robertson was on the team. Was that? I don't remember that. I don't know, Bob. I give up. You tell me. Now, let's go check out Cody White. We were going to look at that, but we've seen how my matchup is. What I'm going to do is use this time or some of the time to start looking for a trade. And oh my God, Ross, I'm not even going to ask that question on the air. There's some profanity going on. It's not even profanity, but it's implied profanity. Okay, we're going to go check out Cody White and see what Ross's fascination is with this man. We're going to even check out his hair, I think. Cody White. No players found. What? Cody. Corey White. That's why. Corey White? Who is it? He's not here. I don't even know what's happening. Let's see. White. Kobe White. That's why. We had dyslexia. I completely forgot. That's really weird. I must be very tired. Okay. Kobe White. We pull up his numbers. 16.2 points. Ooh, look. Oh, I see. Ross. Okay, he's putting up a lot of points. No, I don't want to subscribe right now. I'm in the middle of a show. Okay. I'm going to blow this up a little bit more so you can really see it. You can see Kobe White, who I now have his first name right. It's so embarrassing that I didn't have that. 6 straight games with a lot of points, decent number of assists. He's not getting steals and blocks, though. And, his rebounds are pretty solid, but he's not bringing a lot. Oscar Robertson was on the team in Hoosiers? I didn't know that. Hoosiers is the best basketball movie of all time. And the second best basketball movie of all time is Hoosiers. I don't even know what else is. I mean, I'm not going to say like The Fish Who Saved Pittsburgh or anything like that, or Blue Streak. I mean, give me a good basketball movie. Hoosiers is just a great movie. And I do remember Oscar went to the University of Cincinnati. I'm an Ohio guy, but not a Cincinnati guy because I'm from Cleveland. So Kobe White, I could see it, but I would rather have Boucher, and let's just check out why. And then I'm going to have you stop distracting me so that I can get to my trade. Oh, look at Boucher. He's ranked 36th overall in season average. Let's just see how he's doing in the last 14 days, because everybody knows I love that. 44 overall. That trade, you would be doing great. Fantastic. So let's just take a look and see what questions I've missed. Westbrook for Gobert. Are you kidding me? If you get Gobert, take it in a heartbeat. I would trade Westbrook at this point for half of Kobe White, because Westbrook is going to kill you in 3 categories. It's just not something you want to have. And Ross, Westbrook is killing you. Deal him for anybody. Deal him for a 3-point shooter. Just somebody else. Blake Griffin, a good pickup. Now, listen, we're going to take a look and see. My instinct is no. I think he's a little bit of fool's gold. I understand why you would pick him up. He's going to do pretty well on a team because he's got all of these guys around him that are going to open up scoring lanes for him, but he's just not the same player. I just don't see it happening. Well, let's see. Has he been playing well lately? No. He hasn't been playing all lately. Let's see. What's the latest on Blake Griffin? May find him serving as the Nets' sixth man, backing up both a power forward and center position. Definitely inefficient. 36.5% shooting. This is the same assessment as I have of it. Basically, if you're in a 12-team league, I could see picking him up and giving him a try for a week or two. I wouldn't hold him for long, though. Okay, tell me your top 5 guys that will tear it up in the second half. Okay, well, top 5 guys. I'm going to need to look at the players overall just to get... I could pull something out just myself. Lillard always does well in the second half. I feel like he's going to be one of the top 5, but I'm just going to take a look and see how they're doing in the last 30 days. No, I want that. Yes. Last 30 days, please. And I'm going to look at total because average can be misleading sometimes. So, okay. Wow. Antetokounmpo is really coming on. The Greek Freak. I think that Harden is going to be at the top. I think that Lillard, I would go Harden, Lillard, the Greek Freak, and I would go with Steph Curry. And my last guy is going to be I'm trying to decide between Karl Anthony Towns and Jokic. I'm going to go with Jokic. I don't want to because my cousin Andrew owns them, and I don't want that to happen. But who is funnier, Bob or Greg Ferris? Ferris Bueller is funnier, but I don't actually know them. I don't know. Hoosiers is the best basketball film of all time. Case closed. Bob Golub, I agree with you completely. We've got Chris Atwater in the house. He was at my wedding. Chris, welcome. He says, run the picket fence. Chris is, I've talked about him on this show before. He is the guy who analyzes stats and trends like that. And he had that whole different strategy of how to pick players, and he's doing very well. And in fact, Chris just dealt for another great player. Who was that? Let's find out. Chris, we're going to go down here. Now, look, this is a good way to learn about, by the way, if you don't really know that much about fantasy, it's good to watch somebody navigate the site because you can figure out all kinds of information. Here's the trade. That's right. He got Rudy Gobert for Zach Levine. Let's see who won that deal. I mean, at first glance, I would say that Chris won that handily because Gobert is going to be great. He's going to be great, and he'll be even better in the second half. I don't love that he only has center eligibility, but the only reason I say that is that, it's Sam Jacobowitz, our chat MVP, has shown up. He says he's not going to be here a lot tonight. Well, Sam, we're glad to have you as briefly or as long as you can allow. We'll take you in any dose we can. All right, so Rudy Gobert, in the last 30 days, he's ranked 20th overall. He's doing a lot better, and he's always so good, and the reason why is the blocks. Let's look at the average stats. Average stats in the 2.8 blocks a game, 12.5. I mean, these are just monster numbers. And the reason his value is depressed is his low free throw percentage. Listen, if you have a high free throw percentage, this is a guy that you deal for because you can absorb it. And if you have a low field goal free throw percentage, you deal for him anyway because you're basically punting that category. So Rudy Gobert is a great get. Now I want to see what Zach Levine has been doing because it's possible that Chris just did the best. It's with an A, isn't it? What? Fine. We'll just spell it Zach. I don't know why that wasn't letting me go there. Okay. Now he's ranked 18th overall, but in the last 30 days, let's check his average stat numbers. 23. He's really keeping it up. Look at these points per game. 31.8. Okay, listen. This is a trade that nobody necessarily won. This might be one of those trades where it just matched up right. So let's start to look for a trade for me. And Chris and Ross, since you're in my league, you shout out things that you think I should do if you're willing to, even though I know you're two of my chief rivals in the league. We're all in position to make the playoffs. Oh, wait, actually, I think Ross slipped out right now. Sam, I'm sorry. I hear that your league has been boring lately. Sam says he finished all his homework, though. Good job. All right, so tell us why it's been boring. We'll talk about it. Yes. Now, look, I'm not going to say Ross's horrible name. Okay, fine, I will say it. Impeach Commish. What kind of infantile opponent would say such a thing? I run a good league, but I have not run a great basketball league. I needed to hone it in. Now he's in my baseball league, and he's going to learn what it's like to have a real commissioner in charge. Bob Golub says he used to fight with I don't know if he did, but somebody used to fight Boom Boom Mancini out of Youngstown, Ohio. I don't think it was Bob Golub, but maybe. I don't know. Bob, you tell us. So here's the thing. I'm going to figure out, here we go to head-to-head stats. We're going to look at the categories that I need to add. And by the way, let's also say this is a week that we have all been waiting for a long time. March Madness is coming up, and last year's cancellation of March Madness was one of the hardest things for us all to tolerate among the non-serious events in the coronavirus. So I am so glad it's going to be back. We're watching the conference tournaments, and I heard Cleveland State made the tournament. I don't know if I have that information correct because I just heard it, but I'm going to check. Sounds like they won their conference. So look, I have low field goal percentage. I could add there. Free throw percentage is a strength. I need some help in 3-pointers, points, rebounds. I just got Karl Anthony Towns. So I'm not actually. Oh, Bob was also an All-American wrestler. Wow. Nice. Oh, Bob is a great boxer. Apparently he fought Boom Boom Mancini. That's pretty good. Let's see. Oh, I want to race to the greatest basketball game of all time. 1955 for a Pennsylvania Overbrook and Wilt Chamberlain. Wow. Ross the Boss says Cleveland State has a great coach. Who is the coach? I know it's not Kevin Mackey, but that's who it was when we went to the Sweet 16 in 1986. I need to find out who the coach is. I should know this. Okay, so back to my trades. We are going to look for points and 3-pointers. That's what I want most. You see that I'm doing fine in turnovers, which I kind of manipulate as the matchup goes. And blocks, I'm doing great in, and I just added Karl Anthony Towns, so that's going to get better. I could use to maybe add some steals. I'm not so worried about field goal percentage. I want a guard who scores a lot and shoots threes. I wanted Malik Beasley. And guess who picked up Malik Beasley? Chris Atwater. Chris, if you're still there, let's make a deal. I'm going to go straight to you. Well, that's where we're going to start. I'm going to see if I can bring in Malik Beasley. Now, we go to the team that has Malik Beasley, and I'm going to see what he has. I need to see what he needs. So the last 14 days might tell me how he's feeling. Wow, Pascal Siakam is injured. Interesting. Now, he's already said he won't trade me Pascal Siakam, but maybe if I'm offering the right player, it's possible. Even so, do I want to deal for an injured player? I don't know. He and I hooked up for a trade. LeBron James, I sent to him. He sent me Karl Anthony Towns. Chris is one of my favorite trading partners. Very smart, and he's shrewd, but he's also fair, and I appreciate that. So, Sam Jacobowitz is bringing up a baseball question. I'm going to answer this really quickly, Sam. Normally, I would say I'm going to try to stick with basketball, but I'll answer this really fast. I traded Betts for Ryu, Merrifield, and Vasquez. I needed depth and already had Soto. It is points as well, so big stars aren't as valuable. I think you got some very good value for him, but I would stay away from trading Betts. I'd rather add waiver wire guys with him. But you didn't do too bad. Offer one of my waiver wire pickups. That's Ross the boss. That's a low blow, sir. Listen, over half of my team is waiver wire pickups. Remember, I draft in such a way that I value these top 3 players, and then I bring in other players around. Let's look at my roster. I mean, if you say I can't offer my waiver wire pickups, which, by the way, they're very good players at this point, and I picked them up long ago, then who am I going to trade? Chris Paul is one of my big 3. Miles Turner is my 4th best player. James Harden is one of my big 3. And I got Karl Anthony Towns. So I've got the big 3, and I've got Miles Turner. The rest of my lineup is all completely turned over except for Marcus Smart I drafted and Justin Holiday I drafted. So what do you want me to do? Let's see. Chris says he only picked up Beasley, so me or Andrew couldn't, which is why I passed your bids by your budgets. Normally, I wouldn't have loved him. See, this is where Chris Atwater is a shrewd opponent. Now, here's something you want to think about. He knows that me and Andrew are 2 of his key rivals, and he knew that we'd be interested. He looked at our budgets, and let's take a look at our budgets. He bid 9. Now, I only had 4. I'm betting Andrew had 8. Let's take a look. Yes, look, Andrew had 8. Brilliant, Chris. Very, very shrewd. I like it. Okay, well, listen. I'm interested in him, but I understand you may not be willing to deal him to me. Even so, I'm going to take a look and see. And Ross has denigrated my waiver wire pickups, but I'm going to show you how valuable they are. Listen, when you pick up a guy in weeks 1 through 3 or something like that, and they become really great players for the whole season, what are you complaining about? I mean, Justin Holiday is... Look, Colin Sexton has been really good. Let's say I offered a trade. I'm not going to do this, but let's say I offered a trade of Colin Sexton for one of my waiver wire pickups. Oh, dear God. Justin Holiday. Oh, actually, I think I drafted Holiday, so let's go with a different one. Waiver wire pickup... Miles Bridges? No, we'll go with well, you know what? I probably would offer Holiday. So whether I picked him up on waivers, I picked him up very, very cheap if I drafted him. Bob was also in Denzel's new movie that came out last month. Played a homeless guy that couldn't count change. Wow. This is very un-PC of me to say, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think a homeless guy, one of his top skills should be counting change. I'm just going to say it, but I feel really awful about that. We need to cure homelessness. It's a very big problem. And I am actually totally serious about that, but I every once in a while I like to joke. So look, Colin Sexton for Justin Holiday. He's owned Sexton for the whole year. He's 90% rostered, 92% rostered. I have had Holiday for most of the year. He outranks Sexton almost double. He's almost doubly better, but he's only 55% rostered. So Ross, you can complain all you want, but this is not only a fair trade, I'm losing this trade. And look, he has got more steals. He's got more blocks. He's got far less turnovers. Yes, he has less assists, but he has more rebounds. Here's where Sexton gets you points. But look at the threes. The difference in threes is huge. And the shooting percentages are pretty much the same. I mean, Sexton shooting that higher percentage, it just doesn't help you that much. Bob Golub comments, if Cleveland State got the local players, they would be amazing. It's true. And, maybe it could happen. Cleveland State has become a very good school. When I was growing up and Mouse McFadden took them to the Sweet 16, where they just barely lost to David Robinson, the Admiral at Navy. They were a commuter school. They really weren't taken seriously even as a school. Cleveland State has become a very good school. Okay, so that's not the trade I want, but I just wanted to show you that all of Ross is complaining. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and actually propose this trade as if I'm sending an actual waiver wire pickup. We'll go with Batum, who Ross the boss hates. Let's see. But if we propose this deal, let's see how Sexton's doing in relation to Batum, who's only 46% rostered. In the last 30 days, Batum has been much worse. I don't know how much worse, but let's see. Well, in the last 30 days, he ranks 102, Sexton 100. Now, I'm not ripping on Colin Sexton. He's a great player to own. I'm just showing you that you can pick up players and they can be very good additions to your team. And don't listen to the other managers. They're going to try to poison the well on your opinion of your guys. A guy like Batum, he's kept up his value. I think in the last 14 days, he's been particularly bad for some reason from that slice. No, actually not. 90 overall, so not too bad. There was a period where he wasn't good. Maybe it was the last 7 days. No, he's actually doing just fine. So Batum has really kept it up. He's not a great player. Would that be a fair trade though? It actually would. If I were Chris, would I do it? No, I probably wouldn't, because Batum is fading a little bit and Sexton has a lot more upside. But it's really not. It's not like it's an unfair trade. So let's see. If I really wanted to get Malik Beasley, if he's even willing to deal him to me, because this is one thing that you do, like what Chris said. He could pick up Malik Beasley and just send him to a team that's never going to send him to, me or Andrew. Or he could just sit on him. Not physically, just not trade him. So what does he need? Oh, you know what? I'm going to actually look at his team and see what categories he needs. This isn't a thing you need to do. When you're looking to trade, you want to look at what does the other team need. Don't just offer something that you want. That's not going to work. You really do have to think about what the other team needs. So Chris is pretty solid. He's not that high in free throw percentage, so I have that to give. He's very good in three-pointers. He's very good in points. So this is a place I could get some excellent value from him, potentially, and he's got Malik Beasley. Now, he's low on blocks. He just dealt Karl Anthony Towns for LeBron, so he's going down there. He's not that great in steals. Turnovers, I think that's more about manipulation. This is a very solid team. Look, he's good in basically every category. When turnovers is your worst category, you got a very good team. Because, look, he comes in at least 500 in every single category except turnovers. And turnovers is the one you can manipulate the most. So, Chris, you're doing a very nice job. But not that I need to tell you that. But you see other people, you could see like this team needs free throw percentage, they need three-pointers, and they need assists. So they need a guard. And if I had that to give, which I actually do, then I would give it. Now, we do have a question coming in. Why is Sabonis ranked so low? It's because it's Arvydas Sabonis, and he's been retired for 25 years, and he's now 65 years old. No, I'm kidding. Domantas Sabonis is the one that he's wondering about. Oh, is it really not going to come up? Weird. Okay, fine. I'll just search for Sabonis. Why don't you just tell me the film you want to see? Here he is. He's ranked 44th overall. Now, was that question about why he's ranked so low preseason or why he's ranked so low on the season? He does have some great numbers, but he doesn't have a ton of blocks, and his free throw percentage is low, and he doesn't hit three-pointers. So I see his ranking looks exact to me. Oh, that's true. Chris points out he did just deal for Rudy Gobert. So to say he doesn't need blocks is a bit of an incorrect statement, because he's obviously going to make as much blocks. He lost Towns. He gains Gobert. He actually gains blocks on that. So, Chris, I stand corrected. Even so, let's see. What did you need? What did you need, sir? We go back here. See, it's going to be hard for me to deal with Chris because he doesn't want to deal with me particularly, and he also doesn't need that much. So, Chris, much as I want Malik Beasley, I just don't think we're matching up that well, but you can let me know. Let's see. Interesting. BYU is beating Gonzaga. Second half about to start, and then Chris Atwater makes a comment that is awesome, but I can't say it. I already expended all of my goodwill on that joke about homeless people, which was terrifying to say. In any case, I'm going to look at people who have points instead, since Chris and I don't match up. Now, Chris, oh, look, Ross the boss. He's 8-2 in points. So, Ross, I think you and I could match up if you didn't hate all of my players because they were bought off the waiver wire. But look, Chris is thrashing you right now. You need some help. You're on the outside looking into the playoffs. I think it's time for us to link up, strengthen our two teams. Okay, now, first of all, you've got to get rid of Russell Westbrook, and no, I'm not going to take him from you. Why do I say this? His free throw percentage is dismal. He hits no three-pointers. He has no blocks, and his turnovers are extremely high. This is in 1 month. He has 67 turnovers. That's incredible. And you also have LaMelo Ball and Donovan Mitchell turning the ball over a pretty good amount, but nothing compared to Westbrook. So if I'm Ross, first thing I do, I get rid of Westbrook for something even remotely comparable. Let's see. I'm looking for points, though, Ross. So we're going to go to, I want to see average stats over the last 30 days. We're going to check out and see who is scoring at a good clip. Now, Russell Westbrook is, so I could pick him up for super cheap. I have a great free throw team, so I could probably absorb that. But see, I need 3-pointers. So I want somebody who scores points. Now, Kendrick Nunn is looking good to me. 15.4 points, 2.7 3-pointers. I know Ross values him highly. And, you know, he's ranked 60th overall. So I'll have to think about it. But he's also on the way up. I will totally acknowledge that. Al Horford could be a decent pickup for me, but probably he's going to cost too much. Now, John Wall has a terrible overall ranking. Why? His shooting percentage is all quite low. That seems very strange to me. Ross, I'm interested in John Wall. Let's talk about that. Malik Monk. I'm interested in Malik Monk, John Wall, Kendrick Nunn, Donovan Mitchell. I would love to get, but you know, that's like a big three type. So like if I offered him Chris Paul for Donovan Mitchell, that's one that he actually probably should take. I would not offer that to him, but listen, I understand. I look at certain players. Poor Ross. He's got some real roster issues right now because he's got Andre Drummond. Oh, look at this. Jordan Clarkson, who I talk against him because I feel like I've seen him before, but he's now playing in a different team. Utah's flowing. He could be very different this year. By the way, I want to remind everybody, we haven't had anybody come on, but if you do want to come on to talk to me, video or audio, it's www.callmfsn.com. I would love to talk with you. And if you put your comments below, I will answer them personally. I do it all the time. I never miss it. So, but if you haven't already and you're new here, or if you're not new here and haven't already for whatever reason, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and hit like if you like what you're hearing. So, poor Ross. He's got Andre Drummond just sitting out there, and he can't even move him to an injured spot because the Cavs are holding him out. Ross says he would trade a guard for a forward. All right, let's see. So we've got Clarkson's a guard. Now, here's something about Clarkson. When I'm looking at this trade, he has a 958 free throw percentage. That's amazing. Why am I not saying Drummond? That's the guy. You have some good free throw percentage. What's the deal? Drummond, you think he's the guy I should trade for? I can absorb his free throw hit, but he doesn't score many points. He doesn't put up threes. He gets a ton of rebounds. I mean, he's a valuable player, but I don't. And, here's the real problem. He ranks only at center. I'm not looking at centers. I already have Karl Anthony Towns, DeAndre Jordan, and Enes Kanter, who only qualify at center. I'm looking to offload one of those guys. But Chris Atwater's after him. He's been offering Ross the Boss a bunch of different guys for Drummond. Maybe we need to talk a three-way deal then, guys. If I can get Drummond from Ross and send him to you, Chris, maybe I get Malik Beasley and something else. So let's see. You're saying you send a guard. LaMelo Ball is going to be way too expensive, but Malik Monk, Kendrick Nunn is the guy I want. So I understand he's going to cost a decent amount. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pick a player. I'm not saying this is the player I would do it for, but I just want to look at the comparisons. Let's see. Let's say we were going to offer. He's not going to do Dillon Brooks. See, this is where you have to know your Ross says Chris hasn't offered you anyone. So this is where you have to know your league. Ross dealt for Dillon Brooks. He traded. Oh, Chris said he almost did that. I'm sorry, I misquoted you. So he dealt Kelly Oubre to Andrew for Dillon Brooks, and then he cut Dillon Brooks. So I'm assuming he doesn't want Dillon Brooks. That's not who I'm going to offer. I'm not going to trade him Justin Holiday, but I just want to look at what the numbers are for comparability. I don't think I would do this, but he wants a forward anyway. I got to listen to what he wants. I can't do that. Okay. So looking for forwards. Oh, well, Justin Holiday is a small forward, so that actually would qualify. I don't know if that's... He says he waived Dylan. He's awful. I like Dylan, actually. Now, look, they're similar percentage rostered. None is ranked lower on the season. But let's see what they're doing. Let's see if this is a trade I would want to make. Kendrick Nunn in the last 14 days ranks 104. Justin Holiday, 48. Oh, no, wait. I'm reading that wrong. That's for the season. Current. Justin Holiday, 31 over the last 14 days. Nunn, 118. Let's check 7 days. The 7-day forecast. Okay, well, Nunn has barely played. But actually, Holiday also has barely played, and he just had a monster game. So we're going to go to the last 30 days to see what that looks like. Okay, Nunn ranks 27th over the last 30 days. He had been on fire. The question is, could he keep it up? He scores more points than Holiday. He gets more steals than Holiday. I'm surprised by that over the last 30 days. So, wow. I mean, Kendrick Nunn, really interesting. Let me look at the season. This is a trade I might do. I see Chris and Ross are doing some talk about trades themselves. Okay, so for the season, we've got very similar shooting percentage. Nunn has a better free throw percentage than Holiday, but I don't need that, so that doesn't help me that much. Holiday hits many more threes. He's points are similar, a few more rebounds, assists are similar, steals slightly better. These are very similar players. I mean, this is an extremely even trade. So if I wanted to do this, this is a deal I would think that I could get done. That being said, I'm not really looking. I don't think I'm looking to trade Justin Holiday. Now, let me just see. I'm going to check average stats because I want to see the points. Now, see, I would be making gains in points. I'd be losing in three-pointers some, but I'd be making gains in points. I would be breaking even in steals. And that's the main thing that I'd be getting out of this deal. So the question is, do I really want to do that? Okay. Now, Ross is saying he needs a forward, but it sounds like he needs like a rebounding forward. Ross, are you including centers in this, or is it you want a true forward? I think you want a true forward. I'll look and see. But this is how I spend the All-Star break, especially. You know, it's a time to adjust to things. They're showing Enes Kanter. I'm ready to trade Enes Kanter, but the thing is, a smart player knows Enes Kanter's value is about to go down because Nurkic is coming back. But I don't know. Kanter has been great. Everywhere he goes, he's done a pretty good job. So I'm going back to Ross because he's got points to offer. And I really like Kendrick Nunn, but I need to find a forward. Now, listen, I also could say to Ross, okay, fine. Let's look at another team and find out if there's a forward you'd like. Because look, Ross, for whatever reason, he doesn't love my players. He discriminates against players that were on the waiver wire. I don't know why. He says he would take a center, but not Kanter. Okay. Well, what about, your free throws are terrible already. You want to take DeAndre Jordan? I would trade you DeAndre Jordan for Nunn. You let me know. If you want to do that, I'm up for it. But I think Nunn is the good target here because he's a guard. It's either going to be that or Clarkson. Now, both of them happen to have very good free throw percentage, so it's not an ideal fit because I don't need that. But you could argue that if I trade for somebody who has that good of a field goal percentage, then I can afford to play DeAndre Jordan all the time. So, of course, not if I trade him. But you let me know. DeAndre Jordan is an option. I'm going to look at my players and see what kind of value. So Nunn has put up 104 overall, but 27 in the last 30 days. Now I'm gonna err on the side. Okay, he says no to DeAndre Jordan. Fine. So I'm gonna err on the side of giving Ross a deal if I can that he might take. You wanna do something like that. So he doesn't like Batum, so I can't do that. So what about Portis? Let's try Portis. I just want to see what this looks like. He's probably going to reject that right away. He hates my whole team. I don't know why you hate my whole team. I'm destroying the league. He will get less time with Griffin. That's true. But, the advantage of that is if Blake Griffin steals DeAndre Jordan's time enough, his value gets sapped and I can just cut him for another player. So I'm not too worried about that. But let's look at this Kendrick Nunn for Bobby Porter. Bobby Portis. Bobby Porter is someone else. Now, the ranking overall the last 30 days, Bobby Portis has been 76. Now, Ross, here's what Ross is going to look at. He's going to look at these minutes, and he's going to be like, oh, I hate the minutes. He's not wrong about that. I mean, you generally want a player who gets a lot of minutes, but, at the same time, look at the ranking and look at the roster percentages. They're very similar. So let's look at the average stats. Average stats over the last 30 days. I want to see how much of Nunn's value over the last 30 days was just because he played a lot of games. Okay, we got 60 and 103. They're at least comparable. I am going to make gains in points. Ross will gain in rebounds. I'll make some gains in assists, but I don't think either of us care about that much. I'll make some gains in steals, but not that much. Ross does better in turnovers. Here's where Ross gets a big gain. He gets it in field goal percentage. Now, I can understand if he doesn't want to do this. So maybe Ross, I will offer you Kendrick Nunn. I'll take Kendrick Nunn and I'll give you Portis and somebody. Maybe Marcus Smart. I don't know if you're interested in that, but this is a guy who's going to come back and give a lot of value. I don't even know if I would want to do that, but I'll go. No, see, I'm not going to propose this deal because I get scared proposing deals to other managers when I know they're going to hate it. So I'll just say this trade is available for you if you want something like it. If you'd rather do it for Clarkson, I will also do that. I think it's a fair deal. It may not be something you want, but that is something I would offer. Okay. So now we're running out of time shortly, but this is what I'm going to be doing. Even after this show, I'm going to continue doing this. I mean, I'm actually going to put my kids to bed first, but then I'm going to get back to looking for a trade. And I'm not just going to do a trade in basketball. I'm going to do a trade in my keeper league in baseball if I can. I'm a trade junkie. So if you're out there and you're not even in a league with me, offer me a trade. It doesn't make any sense, but I still might want it. What I'm going to do now, since Ross doesn't tend to like my players. Oh, we got Lucius Varenas here. Welcome, Lucius. He says, evening, hope all is well. Sorry if this is a stupid question. There are no stupid questions in any format that I do, ever. But who would you prefer rest of season, Graham or Bledsoe in a points league? Okay, Lucius, thank you for the question. Let's take a look. We're talking Devontae Graham, I assume. I'm going to look and see. Okay, Devontae Graham. I'm going to look at the last 30 days, see what he's done. 390. Oh, he's back. Oh, he's been injured. Yes. See, this is one of those times. I say this all the time. There are going to be players that it doesn't matter how good of an expert you are in fantasy sports. You're not going to know about certain players because they just didn't get on your radar because you weren't I haven't been looking for a guard. I certainly haven't been looking for a guard that's been owned the whole season. So I just didn't know. I might have found out if I needed somebody due to injury, but let's look at his season average. Usually Graham is terrible in field goal percentage, and he is, and that's depressing his value a lot. His free throw percentage isn't even that good, but he's got points. Now, see, this is a guy that I'd be interested in dealing for. Now I've got to develop a trade relationship with Young Guns to be able to do it, but Graham or Bledsoe rest of season points league. Now let's remind everybody what points league is. That is typically the percentages don't matter. So Graham's bad percentages do not matter at all. 2.8 3-pointers a game, 13.7 points, 3 rebounds, 5.7 assists, a steal a game. That's pretty good. I'm leaning in that direction, but I do historically like Bledsoe a lot. I know he has faded quite a bit. Well, let's look at his season average. His numbers, not so great either with the percentages, but once you drop those out, I'm looking at it and I say Devontae Graham. I mean, it really depends, Lucius, on Devontae Graham's injury situation. But as a player overall, I say him. So I'm going to click and find out what's happening. He'll remain on the sidelines for Wednesday's game. It'll be his 7th game out of the lineup, and while we'd expect to see him again sometime after the All-Star break, we still don't know exactly when. And they're saying it's unlikely Graham will regain his place in the starting unit because LaMelo Ball has been so good. I don't tend to worry too much about that. I think good players get playing time. He's going to get less playing time, but I still go with Graham rest of season over Bledsoe in a points league, but it's pretty close. So I have no idea why you thought that was a stupid question, because it was really astute, high-level stuff. So thank you for bringing that. If there are any last questions, I want you to bring them up now, because if you bring them up after the show's over, I won't be able to answer. That's just how I work. But it's been a pleasure joining you and answering your questions. I'm going to continue these trade talks, and I'm going to let you know how they go. I'm going to look at young guns. I'm going to look at the players he has, because, you know, Graham is potentially available. You have a good one too, Sam. Chris Atwater says Bledsoe is a heartbreaker, plays well sometimes, drafted him, dropped him, which means a lot on my team. It's true. Chris Atwater, he holds on to things dearly. Sam, we're glad to have you back, even for the last minute. Come join us on the waiver wire. Remember, everyone, the waiver wire is at, I have to remember when it is, 1:30 Eastern, 10:30 Pacific. And we are going to talk about the players to pick up. We're in the stretch run, guys. You got to pick up the players that are starting to get hot. You got to look at those buried numbers so you can understand which players are gaining in value. You can find a lot of value on the wire. Tune in on Thursday, and we will see you then. Thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, click subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, hit like if you like what you're hearing, and put your comments below, and I will get back to you personally. Thank you again, and I will see you next week. Remember, the time change, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific. Looking forward to seeing you then. Bye-bye.
Oh, look, coming down the runway is Kill Cliff, the clean energy drink. It's in a brand new can. Oh, look how the colors pop. Boom, boom. Oh, beautiful tan, the front, the back. Gorgeous. Oh, and the flavor, it's still the same awesome taste. I want it in my mouth right now. Oh, so sexy. Go to killcliff.com. Oh, do it now.